Hello and welcome to Seasonal Anime Impressions for Summer 2021. Uh, this is once again your seasonal dose of the laziest form of content possible because suffering and anguish. Anyway, this season in particular is a bit of a dud. I didn't see a lot of things I liked. I didn't see a lot of things I latched onto. Especially in the character department. This season in particular has an abundance of black spiky haired otaku shut-in MCs, which is not uncommon by any extent, but there's a significant abundance of it, which I thought really was annoying to see and not very inspiring, especially because I hold characters and character designs as a major part of my expedition into these shows. So, yeah, I guess we can segue that into what I exactly look for in these first episodes, in case you're new. I look for three things. I keep a focus on characters and character designs because most of these shows are going to be 12, if not 24 episodes long, and having good characters can go a long way, especially if they're original, they're inspired, and they fit the genre more than their contemporaries do. It's always a good sign. But if not, that's always a downside, and more often than not, they don't do any of those things. So, you know, uh, pretty fair thing to keep an eye on. The next thing I keep an eye on is visuals. Not in terms of animation. I'm more of a polished type of guy. As are the visuals pretty to look at? Do they add anything? Is it interesting to look at? Is there anything cool being done with the visuals? Examples being something like seasons one and two of Attack on Titan being polished by Wit Studios' original art director, who's not working on the project now. But I thought that original art style gave Attack on Titan a distinct feeling or a distinct tone, and it made its characters stand out among its contemporaries, and the art style is being used in a creative way as well. That's what visuals mean to me. And the most important thing of all is engagement and entertainment value. If it's not entertaining, I don't want to watch it. You know, this is a lot of hours you're sinking into it. Each of these episodes are 24 minutes mostly. Some of them are less, of course, because they are shorter, like 5 minute shorts sometimes. But most of these are TV anime. They run about 24 minutes. And I don't want to be watching a bunch of rubbish for 12 episodes, if not more, because time is valuable. Your time on this planet is very short. I can't afford to watch these for a significant amount of time being bored out of my mind and wanting to rip my eyes out. So, yeah, I think that will do it for this introduction. Starting off with our first show, Peach Boy Riverside by Asahi Production. I don't recognize this studio. I didn't do any background research into the show itself because I didn't like the show. I think I dropped this at no, I completed the entire episode. Yeah, this is the show where there's like really bland, unoriginal character designs. Like the bunny is not going to sell any merchandise. It's just, sort of drawn onto the screen. I wouldn't say lazily. I would just say it's just not appealing to look at. And the main blonde-haired girl is kind of a ripoff of that girl from Carnival Phantasm. I forgot what series she's originally from, but it's by the same creator as the Fate series. But she looks exactly like that one girl uh, from Carnival Phantasm. But yeah, the show didn't have a lot to offer. It had one major action scene, which was lackluster at best. It was a bunch of still frames and a bunch of talking, a lot of expository dialogue. Nothing really anyone would really latch onto if they watch this entire show. I think probably a skip for most people. I don't see a lot of people going the extra mile to really complete this show under most circumstances. Scarlet Nexus. Our main character, or I guess should Studio Sunrise. As it doesn't really matter anyway. Um, Scarlet Nexus has our main character as black-haired Kirito with like red stripes, and like there's nothing really going on. I think I said this in my comment. I lasted about 5 minutes, and yeah, Kirito red stripes, and then I realized that the rest of the characters also were gonna have zero effort put into them, and I didn't like the sci-fi setting, I guess, and the whole hero complex that all these characters have, or I guess our main character has. Um, it's just your run of a mill, show. It's nothing too original, nothing too outrageously terrible. It's just nothing I would sink my time into, especially because, this season in general is kind of lackluster, and I could be sinking my time into other things as well. Next show, Ore Tsushima, or I Tsushima, by Fanworks or Space Neko Company. No idea who they are. Actually, this show had some pretty interesting visuals. I actually considered watching it for multiple episodes, but I kind of just dropped it at the first episode after I realized I didn't really want to watch a show just comprised of 1 minute shorts. The art style in this show is actually more than interesting. It's just that like the overall attachment factor I would have to this show would be negligible, and it wouldn't really add anything to like an understanding of the medium or anything. It's just sort of a gag reel, if you get what I mean. It's sort of like, set up, then punchline, and then you close the episode out. It's just a 1 minute short. So maybe some people like this stuff. It's on the upper echelon of just like I guess short humorous sketches, but it's not anything like laugh out loud LMAO ROFL. Vanitas no Karte, the case study of Vanitas by Studio Bones. What did I say about this one? Opens with this cryptic weirdo animation to set the stage, then it throws it all away by introducing a cringeworthy MC with zero reason not to hate him, or to not hate him right off the bat. I'm not a fan of this high society start either. I remember this show having that not as, I guess it's a steampunk setting, but like it's sort of a weird type of thing. Either way, I didn't like our main character design. It was kind of just bland. Um, and it's not a lot to go on, especially because like a lot of these mature shows, or I guess not mature, but like I think this is directed toward a seinen audience. Is that right? I didn't say it in the genres, but I think it's more toward a seinen audience. But I don't feel an attachment to any of like the set pieces that are going on, because I kind of want some action this season. I kind of wanted some heat, if you will, because I'm kind of waiting on that next Attack on Titan factor. If you think or if you know what I'm saying, I'm waiting for something with spontaneous, sort of fantastical aspects, which also just has a strong, gripping start. And this show, by really no measures, has any of those. I don't think it's trying to go for those. I'm just saying that like it immediately was a turnoff because I'm not even looking for this type of show right now. Mahouka Koko no Yuutousei, The Honor at Magic High School by Studio Connect. What was this one about? Let me see what I wrote. I was almost gonna watch 10 minutes until they said they were 15. Also, it's just hard cringe because brother sister oh, I remember what this was. So I think this is related to the other show that has a very similar name. Basically, like they all look like super old. They're like adults, but they're actually like 14 to 15, and I was actually turned off by that because it's like your age doesn't, or their ages don't really match like the character, and then I'm gonna be confused as to what exactly is going on in the show, what themes to latch on to, and I thought it was just gonna be a bit of a brain screwing with my brain a bit, and I don't really have the tolerance for that right now, so I just decided to just drop it instantly. Um, I don't think anyone, except for maybe people who watched the other iteration of this, uh, would find this interesting. Other than that, most people would probably drop this just as similarly to, uh, or just as similar to me, because this show was indeed, uh, CRINGE, cringe. Okay. Kanojo mo Kanojo, or girlfriend comma girlfriend. Uh, I don't remember this show being that all interesting. I think I remember it being a bit cringe as well. Yeah. Oh my god, I only lasted 1 minute, and I just wrote cringe. So, yeah. If you want to watch this, go ahead. I'm not giving you the okay on it, as I declared it cringe. Remake Our Life, Bokutachi no Remake by Studio Feel. I don't recall this one being an interesting show either. Let me see. 2 minute drop, edgy loser MC with so much dramatization of every shot and second. It makes me barf. Yeah. Is there really anything else you need me to tell you? I didn't think so. Getter Robo Arc. I know that the Getter Robo series in general has had a long illustrious history. I just don't know like where exactly to start, or even if I want to start it, because I think that only a select few people these days would latch on to stuff like Getter Robo. You'd have to, not to say that people are not into the mech industry or mecha industry or genre anymore. It's just that like the series itself seems dated, especially even in this new iteration of Getter Robo. It still seems dated in both its art style and its characters. They just seem not of our time period, and personally, I find that to be a turnoff. But some series have timeless characters. Don't get me wrong. It's just that I don't think I found that in this show. My past self said, "What's the point of shooting action-packed and intense scenes when you are just gonna make it as boring as possible?" Great job, me. Who is this by? B Media. No idea who that is. Tantei wa mo Shindeiru. The detective is already dead. By Studio ENGI. I think I remember this show. It started on a plane, I'm pretty sure, and then the whole narrative structure of this episode was basically Sherlock Holmes and Watson, but Sherlock Holmes is a woman this time, and then Watson is just still Watson, who just stands and watches Sherlock Holmes do deductive work. And basically, this girl is supposed to be a professional and like one of the most intelligent like detectives in the world. And the way she solves the problem to this episode is really just convenience based. It's based on a bunch of events that are stacked on top of, or like meaningless events that are stacked on top of each other to make it look intelligent, but it actually doesn't look or doesn't feel intelligent at all. And I didn't find a lot of enjoyment out of her character design. Her being just kind of a short, white-haired girl, which we've seen plenty of times in order for us to be acclimated to this type of character. Especially because all of the characters don't really emit this originality to them, if you will. This is a obvious light novel adaptation, yeah, but nonetheless, just something I wouldn't put a lot of time into. I think Yeah, 6-minute drop, ugly characters, and then we get a budget Ray. Yeah, it's just predictable garbage, as my past self put it. Remake is about water polo, but in the first like I forget how fast I dropped it. I dropped it pretty quick, but like I remember the first opening sequence being dramatic as hell, and just we're living in flashback land, which already isn't a great sign for someone like myself. But um, we don't even talk about water polo for or like anything other than just sitting in drama fantasy land until like maybe a few minutes in and hit the OP. Uh, I stopped caring once he told us he had been in a coma for a year and a half with literally zero brain damage. Yeah, that's a great way to open up your show. Honestly, Mappa has done a lot better this season. We'll come to see that by the end of my seasonal impressions thing. But this is not their best work, I must say. I mean, even if this show had been good, or like had been like mediocre at least, I think that I wouldn't even be interested in a bunch of like dudes playing water polo. I'm not even into sports anime in general. I mean, the only sports anime I truly enjoyed, um, well, I mean, how do I say this? The only like traditional sports anime I really enjoyed was Ping Pong, and Ping Pong is sort of an anomaly because there's not really anything like it. Um, but I mean, if you want to talk about another like non-traditional sports anime, you could talk about Sangatsu no Lion, which yeah, at essence is kind of a sports anime, but it's also just a drama. And you could get much better experiences out of both of those rather than watching Remain. Kageki Shoujo! Exclamation mark! Exclamation mark! Opera Girl! Exclamation mark! What did I say about this? 11 minutes. Wow, I actually made it 11 minutes. So it's sort of like a battle royale for being a coca actress, and our MC is a stone-faced killer with no emotions because she got canceled online for calling one of her fans creepy. It sounds like a cool concept, except the movement or the moment to moment is terrible. Although I'm not a fan of these types of edgy loser type characters, it's not that bad considering what it's covering. I'm also not a fan of how dramatic it is. Yeah, so if you want some, okay, so like this would pan out to be like sort of an idol type of show, which I still haven't completed a single idol show. I've tried many times to complete idol shows. It's just very difficult for me to find an attachment to a character first of all. Nonetheless, it's kind of hard to attach yourself to a really emotionless character, unless it's something of a slow burning character drama, which this is not particularly leaning to. Um, and if I wanted to watch a slow burning character drama, I'd just watch Ava, or anyone could watch Ava for that matter, and get your blue haired, emotionless MC uh, need out of the way right off the bat. The show does have a highlight though. You have Kana Hanazawa on the project, but she's not, a main role, so it's like whatever. Okay. Shinigami Bocchan to Kuro Maid, the Duke of Death, and his maid. So the gimmick of this show is that this dude on the left, kills everything he touches, and then he has a maid at his place that kind of is oblivious. She's kind of like a big titty Oniisan type of character, and she's just oblivious, but she's not any of the Oniisan characteristics or whatever you think something like that character design would have. And what I honestly thought it would turn out to be is basically a gag reel of just basically slice of life adventures between him and her, basically running into several situations where he's like, "Oh my God, I'm doing stuff," and then she's oblivious as to what he's doing, and then it's gonna be like funny back and forth, but I don't see myself watching anything like that. Here's what I said. Feels like an overdramatic version of that one Family Guy episode where Peter is death and kills everything he touches, except this one is monologue after monologue. Wow, I am just on fire with these comments, honestly. Idolish. Actually, that's not right. Capital idol, lowercase I, uppercase shush, and then 7 colon third B exclamation mark. How does this have an 8.0? Only 986 users. Yeah, it's a boy idol show. It's basically a bunch of twinks doing singing. Not my cup of tea. Character designs are bland, not as bland as they could have been. Not much to say there. And here's my first show that I actually put on my currently watching. But I don't know if I'm actually going to complete the show. It just passed my screening test, so. This show actually offers you a bit to work with in terms of setup for the entire show being laid out in the first episode, which I actually enjoyed having available, because far too often I'm kind of left just being introduced to the characters for 15 minutes, and then like by the end of the episode we get a segue into like what is actually going to happen. But this show is all build up to basically, you know, there's a short introduction, then there's build up, and then there's, you know, covering what exactly we're going to do in this show, and then, you know, the ending is just like, okay, let's get started, let's get to work. And this is our isekai show of the season. Well, multiple isekai shows, but I think I only listed this one as, I think this is my only isekai I'm actually watching this season. I forget, but yeah, basically he's teleported to another world and he's made king because he's a hero or whatever. It's nothing special. Character designs are not great. They're basic, and I'm feeling like this would easily pan out to be like a 4 or a 5 by the end of it. I don't see it really going anywhere. But you know, I'm fine with watching like maybe 1 or 2 episodes, or I guess I've already watched 1 episode, but maybe like watching until episode 2 to see if it maybe picks up. But if it doesn't pick up, it's just a drop. So expectations aren't high with this one, but uh, you know, promise is there remotely. Anything else to say? Uh, yeah, I was pretty harsh in my comment actually. You know, I really wonder how some of these shows are not labeled as hentai. I don't think this is. Yeah, it's not, but it was essentially. I didn't even watch the first season. I just clicked on this and didn't even read the title. I just thought it was another seasonal, and then I just watched it and I was like, huh, it's just a really muscular dude and his girl, and they're doing it. Yeah. When did I drop it? Oh, this is my comment, lol. I didn't even make it through like 3 minutes, probably, but great insight by myself. Seirei Gensouki, Spirit Chronicles. I completed the full episode apparently, but I don't remember what happened. Basic, but not quite unengaging for the average viewer. The characters are nothing to write home about, nor are their designs. The initial isekai element plays little to no role in the actual show, despite it taking 3 minutes to set up. The show attempts to create shock factor by beating the living crap out of a kid, but it's just senseless and purposeless. It serves no purpose or reason than to just exist as filler because no one knows how to write anymore. Oh, I remember this show now. Basically, he's teleported to another world, but he has all of his other previous memories intact. And that's the isekai aspect of it, but it barely does anything to even do anything. It's just worthless. I don't think anybody would watch this. I mean, obviously people are watching it. As 135,000 members on Mal, but like for me, there's quite literally no reason for me to watch this other than to just like suffer. Um, all the characters are like it's hard to call them unoriginal, but like they are colorful if you care about that. It's just that like none of them really speak to any form of originality in terms of like am I gonna remember this show down the line, like 1 to 2 years down the line, or even months down the line? Nah, not even close. Maybe some people will, but I really doubt they'd buy merchandise for this show. Even if they were paid to, they wouldn't go on someone's shelf. Uramichi Oniisan, Life Lessons with Uramichi Oniisan. Basically, this show is just this dude who runs a kids show, but he's actually very sadistic and ironic. Well, I guess not ironic is not the word, but sadistic is probably the word to describe him. Basically, he hates his life and he takes it out on the kids, basically creating this very uh I guess contrast of tone, and that's the gag of the show. He's haha guys, I hate my job and I hate my life, kids, and then they're confused as like what the hell is this guy saying? And then like that's the show. I I don't find that entertaining. I don't find the conceit entertaining. Who the hell knows who Studio Blanc is? But yeah. I wouldn't watch this. You couldn't pay me to watch this. I kind of forgot halfway that I'm supposed to name the studios, but I never do it anyway. Kusushi no Slow Life Isekai no Sukuru Drugstore. Cheat pharmacist slow life making a drugstore in another world. Right from the title, you can tell this show blows, but I watched it anyway because suffering is my middle name. Made by EMT Squared, and I think I dropped it in 2 minutes. 1 minute 30 drop. Ugly character designs and a boring slow concept. Don't care to stick around. Don't care. It's butt. Also, what's up with this show being super bright? In the show, I remember I really don't like these shows that do either the white backgrounds or just really like turn the brightness or saturation up 50 billion. Like, why do you do that? Also, the cat Lolly Liz looks absolutely disgusting. Not cute at all. Suki ga Michibiku Isekai Dochu Moonlit Fantasy. Another Isekai. Shocker. Studio C2C. 3 minute drop. Love the 3 boring minutes of exposit. Why didn't I just say expository? Expository garbage that they drop on my head like it's an anvil instead of just starting the goddamn show. Yes, please explain the circumstances of the isekai. I really care that much. Jesus. Man, I don't even think I'm halfway through these shows and I've already lost my mind. And I'm not even watching, I'm just explaining them. Okay. Here's another show that got past my screening. Shiroi Suna no Aquatope. Or I don't know how to pronounce that last one. Maybe it's different. The Aquatope on White Sand. The only reason this show passed screening is that it looks absolutely gorgeous, but we all know what PA Works does. I haven't seen like I don't think I've seen a full PA Works show or like product since I watched Makia back in like 2018. I went to go see Makia. I loved it. But this show in particular is or the first episode at least was very slow. Not a lot happened. But it looks absolutely gorgeous. So like, here's the balance of ideas here. Do I value looking at things that are gorgeous but have no content, or do I skip it and then save myself the time that I'm gonna waste watching another episode of this to see if anything happens? Gotta weigh the options there. Initially, I thought this was going to be a bit of a Yuri show, but it turns out it's just going to be a slice of life. I have no idea where it's leading. I wish it was a Yuri show. I haven't watched a Yuri show since Bloom Into You, and it's very hard to find like traditionally like mature and honest Yuri shows that really tackle deeper themes about Japanese lesbian relationships. But like this show in particular doesn't seem like it's going anywhere. The only upside to it is that it looks gorgeous, and that's probably not enough to satisfy someone like myself. Okay. Make You Black Company. Oh, this show actually had a really great start. Because I thought it was going to be about Sigma male mentality and like the Sigma grind set, because the show introduces this main character as like a NEET, but he is also just like laughing at wage slave. He calls like the people down below him wage slaves because he invested and he owns like 3 apartments and now he's landlording and getting free money and passive income, and it's all about like just Sigma grind set and stuff like that. And then right when it's getting good, he gets isekai to another world and has to start from zero. And I was like, no, why? Why couldn't the show have been about him just taking over the world, Sigma grind set mentality? I thought that would have been far more funny and far more entertaining than your traditional fantasy isekai, which this kind of turned out to be. And I got bored of it by then. So it was a bit of a missed opportunity there. If someone wants to use that idea, go ahead. I'll give it to you tax free. Didn't say interest free though. I want my royalties. D_Cde Tramere, the animation. If it has a underscore in it, you already know you're in for something terrible. The show is nothing. It is absolutely nothing. I recall this being the Mercenary show. No. This show is done in all CG, but it actually doesn't look that bad. The problem is that all the characters are ugly, and by characters I mean character designs. And the show is kind of oblivious as to what is an introduction and how to create a setting. Nothing of interest happens. Must I say more? It's hard to find shows that really have great CGI. I mean, you could go to Studio Orange for that if you really wanted it, but this show didn't have bad CGI per se, and I think a lot of people will be turned off by just looking at CGI, but if I really wanted to support CGI or support like creators that try to be more interesting with the uses of CGI, I would be watching this show, but like the characters are so ugly and there's nothing of interest. And then not to mention it introduces like 50 characters at once. I mean, look how many main characters this show has. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 main characters. You're not making it very easy for me to get attached to this show. It's very, very difficult. And do you know how low a consumer's attention span is? The average human has a weaker attention span than a goldfish. Love Live Superstar! Exclamation mark, exclamation mark. I actually watched a little bit of this. I watched up into the part where the second main character gets introduced, and I immediately turned it off because her voice was like nails on a chalkboard mixed with a chipmunk who just got high off of helium for 3 days. That's how high her voice was. The main girl, on the other hand, Orange Girl on the front print here, had actually a really nice singing voice. Her voice actress is very talented. I really thought it was really nice. The amount of singing or the one singing scene she did do was pretty nice. I'd give that a thumbs up on my book. But the other character on the hand was like, creak, squeak, squeak, and I was already just okay. I'm done. Diate 5 Bio de Battle. A battle game in 5 seconds. Yeah, so I didn't even make it I didn't even make it far enough to a point where they even battle or do anything in the show. I literally just dropped it as soon as we were done with our main character introduction, which is once again our gamer otaku loser who's like calculated and articulated with his video game knowledge. He's like, oh, I need a real challenge. All these games are just they're minuscule in the face of a giant master gamer like myself. I'm the otaku. And I was just like, God damn. Free me from this nightmare. So, yeah. Can you really blame me with that? Not many people can blame me with that. Where are we? Here we are. Oh, excellent. Megami-ryou no Ryoubo-kun, Mother of Goddess Dormitory. Another show which definitely should be labeled as hentai, but is not. Basically, I I didn't bother to watch past like the first 5 minutes of the show because the first opening shot of like literally the very first opening shot is just a little dude walking into three bare-breasted, big, big booby women. Uh, yeah, no censorship. So that was the show. Um, not hentai, by the way, not listed. In fact, I thought this was gonna be more like a, you know, I don't even know what I was looking for actually. What even am I looking for? This honestly had the most shock factor out of everything I watched, and it's only because I was not ready to see booby. Yeah. So, I mean, there's nothing really there. I mean, technically the girls are not like ugly. Their character designs are not ugly. It's just that like, why would I waste my time on a show like this? Why? Nighthead 2041. This is also another CG show. I really don't know why I define some of these shows as just like CG. Is that exclusionary? Like if I say it's CG right off the bat, is someone going to be turned off by that? Or maybe I'm just turned off by CG in general, which I am, if it's done incorrectly. But I do accept it for what it is. It's just that like it's much easier to define a CG show for someone because they know what type of product they're getting. Because there's not many shows that are done entirely in CG that are great, and so it builds this kind of persona around the genre or around the type of style that is associated with mediocrity. Well, Nighthead in general is like it opens with this whole mercenary thing, and they're like hunting this dude, but like the CG is not great compared to the other CG show, which looked like better than most. This show looked like most. This was just average, your run of the mill CG, and entertaining to look at or wasn't appealing to look at, and I don't think I could watch several episodes of this before wanting to just like turn my eyes off and go to sleep. There's not much to go on here. I think I lasted like 3-4 minutes. Finally, we have reached the one show I wanted to talk about because I think it held the most potential out of every show in the season, but was, maybe incorrectly approached. Sonny Boy, Studio Madhouse. Take note of an important director, Shingo Natsume. Also take a note of Hisaishi Iguchi, who did character designs for Ryoujo Z, which I do like character designs for, but he did not do well here. I wrote this entire thing in my comment section about Sonny Boy, and I'm just gonna read it back to you because I think I did proper amount of insight into this show in order to give you an idea. The problem with this show in particular is that it is really trying to be auteur, but not for any real particular reason. Sure, you have an array of characters who represent different structures of humanity, but managing all of them seems... Why isn't this scrolling down? I need to refresh the page, I think. Or am I crashing? God damn, my FPS is tanking. Hold on, my computer's dying. 1 second. There, we're back. But managing all of them seems like a waste of time. The show... Let me just actually stretch this out. Yeah, now we're talking. Where am I? But managing all of them seems like a waste of time. The show intends to solve this by creating drama and a Danganronpa setting to solve this problem, and let their primal instincts and personalities show. But for what purpose? It takes a lot to create such a thing, which is why Masaki Yuasa, who Shingo Natsume is influenced heavily by, chose to replicate or put a spin on his favorite elements of Yuasa's works. From the exaggerated movements and art style, either Yuasa himself has gotten a grip on Natsume, or Yuasa's art director, Shinichi Uehara, who has also worked on Satoshi Kon's films, or it's either, you get it. Either way, this seems like a collective of Natsume's influences rather than something you would call an opus or a defining piece of work. On another note, the character designer Hisaishi Iguchi had far better work on Ryoujo Z, even if more dated. The characters in this show look like sheets of paper dressed in ink, which by most measures is uncommon, but feels bland, really. Sonny Boy is something of an anomaly in this anime season because it's not technically unambitious. It is ambitious, but for reasons that are unpronounced, reasons that don't really make sense to the average viewer. Take, for example, character designs and a story that is auteur like the Tatami Galaxy, which is a reoccurring show that I keep bringing up because I think it's a great talking point. Tatami Galaxy was revolutionary for a generation of anime fans who wanted deeper and more interesting meaning to their art, but weren't ready to watch things like Angel's Egg in order to get it. It was approachable, understandable for your average viewer, but had much deeper and more concise and strategic meaning behind all of its set pieces for even the most diehard fans, which is why, people that are mostly pretentious feel really strong or have strong feelings towards the Tatami Galaxy. Whereas I don't think that Sonny Boy would achieve the same thing, even though it's heavily inspired by Yuasa's works because of Shingo Natsume working with him for so long. And that's where I think Shingo Natsume is kind of wasting his time. I think he could be working on something a lot more ambitious without sort of trying to replicate the erratic movements of or erratic and more disjointed structure of most of Yuasa's work, when he doesn't have anything to represent of his own style. Where when I watched this show, Sonny Boy, and I was like, dang, all I see is just a bunch of like really quick and snappy shots which have probably some inherent meaning, but like why? What does it all mean? And why is it here? What does it prove to me in terms of like this is this is a work that, would define Shingo Natsume for all to see. It's just not that. It's just not that. Um, Also, I just don't like the characters in general. They just seem like you're you're begging to have personality weaved into all these characters and have them represent different personalities for the viewer to latch onto and sort of like, say this guy's gonna go or whatever, this guy's gonna die, or I don't even know what the show's about, honestly. But I can get a pretty good idea from what I saw, which is why I said it's gonna be like sort of a Danganronpa thing. Um, I just don't see myself watching this and contributing to something to like this, especially because like there's such better works out there that have already achieved something in the space that this is trying to re-achieve, when I have no idea why. I don't know if anyone's gonna really write home about this show. Um, Maybe some people might latch onto it because it looks interesting and like has sort of a more uh I don't know what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to say that like it offers something different compared to everything else this season, but it's just not anything else from this season when you take a look at it from my view, I guess. I don't know. I had the most to say on this, but like I don't even want to watch it. So what does that say? Heian Sadai no Idaten-tachi, by Studio Mappa. Now, this is the other show that I was talking about earlier, saying that Mappa actually had a great show this season. This is it. Mappa has done it. They have created a show I am genuinely interested in for the first time in a very long time. Um, I did not care for their previous works like Jujutsu Kaisen, although a lot of people did latch onto it. Uh, this show in particular has a really, really rich art style. I am very impressed with all the characters. They have really colorful but like tame designs. It's sort of a easy to latch onto shonen show, but has deeper inherent meaning, at which will be explained further in the series, which I'm looking forward to. I don't want to say I like the show though. I think it's all right. I think that if I put my expectations too high, I'll be disappointed once again. I've had shows that have excellent first episodes, really great art styles, i.e., Wonder Egg Priority, which just totally went off the deep end by episode 3. I don't know if this show is going to last. I have no idea what they're planning on covering. Um, I know what it has in store for me. At least I have, something to look forward to. I'll at least give it another episode to see what's what. But, this show by far was the most interesting piece of the season. I think that anyone who watches this first episode would be, at least pleasantly surprised at what they're seeing on their face. It's just color bleeding off the screen, and you're really getting that eye candy that I was talking about. Um, yeah, you also have some alright voice acting performances. The character archetypes we're given are nothing of creativity. I mean, they're just really the same, more of the same. It's just that like what exactly this show will cover is what is bringing interest to my eyes, at least. Here we go. Jahy-sama. I actually went into this thinking I would hate this show, but I actually did not like, or I did not hate the show. I actually cracked a few smiles at this show. It was pretty funny. I wouldn't say it was like laugh out loud funny. I would just say my smiles were indicative of my enjoyment. I enjoyed watching this show. It's a bit stupid. I did not particularly enjoy some of the scenes. I thought they were a bit bland, but like overall, like this reminds me a lot of The Devil is a Part-Timer, the one where the devil works at McDonald's and stuff like that. I was thinking about that show the entire time. I'm like, this show is pretty similar to that one, and I actually like that show a lot, so maybe I'll like this show a lot. Um, I don't particularly like the voice actor they chose for Jahy. Her voice is kind of too high pitched for me, so that might be a problem. But the visuals are fine. I thought that the other supporting characters were cool. But who knows? I liked the first. I keep saying I liked it, but I don't know if I liked it. I just thought it was enjoyable. And the final show this season, that I completed an episode of and I added to my watch list, is called Kaizoku Oujo, Fina, Pirate Princess. This show was something, I'll tell you that. The beginning of the show held a lot of energy. Our main character is this strong, independent female character, sort of, that has been set upon the world by her on her own because of a excruciating, because of circumstances, right? And she's grown up for 10 years believing that she's gonna escape and travel the world as a pirate or whatever. I don't know. But now she's faced with her past a little bit, and what I initially thought was going to be a cool female independent character show turned into a, meandering monologue, save me, I'm at the top of a castle Rapunzel type character very quickly, which I did not enjoy at all. I feel like this character in particular could have used the Elena effect from The Journey of Elena, which I awarded Anime of the Year to in 2020. I feel like sass adds a lot to these types of characters that initially seem very, very independent and then hold onto it by becoming this sassy and sarcastic character, which substitutes for, I guess maybe it's either the type of character that Elena is, or just maybe add the tsundere factor, because I'll take either of those compared to what we had in this show, which is just like, oh my god, you're that guy, I remember you, and you saved me that time. I was so thankful for you saving me that time. Boo hoo, cry, cry, boo boo. It's just like, huh. The artwork in the show is great. The background art in particular is great. But I have no idea if I would even continue on watching this show because of our main character being so conflicting at the very start. Not that I don't enjoy a conflict of emotion, it's just that, like, if you're going to introduce a character, I really hope that you set her up right. And I didn't feel like she was set up right, but that could just be a fluke in the system. Who knows? And that's it. It's every single show of the season. Time for the outro. This season I got past, this many shows got past screening 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I did not like any of them. I enjoyed some of them. I thought some of them were mediocre, but had several promising elements to them. The most promising of all of these shows is this show, Heian Sadai no Idaten-tachi, but promise is a very light word I'm using right now. Like, I hope that it'll do well, but I have a feeling that it won't because I've been let down before by Mappa. I've been let down before by JC staff. I've been let down before by Silver Link. Actually, I'm not even going to define it by the studios. I'm just going to define it by I've been let down before. And me being let down so many times has led me to be very cynical about what I consume. And what I'm consuming is basically content built to keep your attention. And I have no idea how long my attention will last with any of these shows. So here's to hoping. I really sincerely hope these shows, pick up at least in the second episode. Because maybe I'll drop some of these and not even watch the second episode. Who knows? I have plenty of other things I could be watching. But yeah. I think that what I really desire in my media nowadays, or especially in just seasonal anime in particular, is just that moment of fresh and originality that just comes out of nowhere, right? All of these shows don't really speak to that notion. Like, some of them are more original than others, but most of them don't feel like a mainstay of like anime culture, or like something I'd talk about 10 years from now. Like, none of these shows would speak to me like that. And I really wish like more shows were being produced like that, even though it's a really hard ask. You can't just walk around and ask for the next Steins Gate every few seasons, because it's not going to happen. Steins Gate was a once in a decade thing, and I'm going to have to wait another 5 years before I maybe even might consider something on the same level, because it's super rare to find such a product these days that I don't know if I'd ever see something like that again. I think by far the year that really defined my taste overall was 2016, because 2016 is my favorite year of anime, period. I had so many bangers in that year. Shougen Roku Rakugo Shinju, Sangatsu no Lion, Konosuba. Um, I feel like Mob Psycho came out in that year as well. Even though I haven't watched Mob Psycho, I know a lot of people attach themselves to that shows. Like, so many great shows came out in 2016. It's unbelievable how many good shows came out. I mean, 2 10s in one season. That is not possible in any other circumstance. So yeah, I really hope that maybe some more of these awesome directors that really don't make products anymore start coming out with bangers. I know that I haven't heard anything from Hideaki Anno in terms of him continuing or abandoning animation in general. I know he just finished the Eva movie, but like, what does that mean for his career, right? He's still a man who is making products at this point. It's not like I mean, I don't want to say it's not like he won't retire, but like, some of the most influential minds are just sitting waiting and just not dropping products, or either that or they're working on a lot of products but never releasing anything because they can never get the funding for it because there's nobody willing to take a chance on their work. I mean, take a look at Mamoru Oshii. He released that one show recently. I forget what it was called. It was about the vampire girl or whatever. Um and I didn't really like that show, but it was something different at least. He had something different to offer in that show. But like, what exactly am I getting out of this season in particular? Just a bunch of random nothingness, more of the same, nothing too spectacular, nothing too meaningful in terms of something they're trying to portray in a deeper level. It's just makes me sad to see all this stuff with all this stuff with funding but zero reason to fund it. But I know times are tight, or times have always been tight in the anime industry. It's not been like, this is not a first for them. They've been time crunched for over like a millennia, trying to create the product that'll speak to audiences the most. But maybe it wouldn't kill them to sit back and sit on a product for a couple years and then come out with it like Kyoto Animation does. To be fair, Kyoto Animation kind of burned down, so they had time to sit on a product for a long time, but most studios can't afford that luxury, unfortunately. Speaking of luxury, uh, this is like the first time ever I've done a seasonal impressions not at like 1 o'clock in the morning. Because I usually start my seasonal impressions after I finish watching every single show, which is like at 1 o'clock in the morning. And then I'm sitting here for like an hour just talking about anime. But this time it's actually like around 4 p.m. So I actually got through quick because my mind was pretty sharp, and I also left a lot of good comments this time to help me breeze through it. So yeah, that'll be it for this what do you even call this? An episode of seasonal impressions? It sounds stupid. Um yeah. Thank you for watching the laziest form of content that any anime content creator can possibly do. Uh yeah. Thanks for watching.